I believe as long as you're having fun, and not hurting anyone, of course, then great, go for it. So the first thing that I'll say is ketamine's not fun for everyone, whether they're doing it in a clinical setting or at a rave. Not everyone's going to have fun on ketamine. All right, YouTube friends, Ketamine Connections, I'm Anna Krishtal. This is a short clip to remind you that the video you're about to see is not made for YouTube. It is simply a video recording of me recording the Ketamine Connections podcast that you can find on Spotify, you can find on iTunes, you can find on Amazon. Honestly, pretty much anywhere you listen to podcasts, Ketamine Connections is there. And we want to get it on YouTube because we have all of this amazing video. Some of you are really enjoying watching me record this. So that is what this video is. It's not designed for YouTube. And I hope you enjoy. And please let me know below in the show notes if you're liking this format, because we want to do the things that you like, the things that help you and really serve you, because this is really for you. Enjoy. Is ketamine fun? Ketamine Connections, welcome back. I get this question asked a lot, and it's a question that was posed to me a couple of weeks ago. I was at the Awakening conference in Los Angeles. Big shout out to the Psychedelic Institute of Los Angeles for hosting the conference and hosting me as a speaker. If you are in the LA area, they are hosting so many events. Get on their newsletter. We'll put it into the show notes because they are doing so much in the space of education and community building. And the conference was super fun. There was art, there were amazing talks, there was experiential activities. Honestly, I had the best time. And in a panel that I served on, someone asked, "Hey, is ketamine fun?" To be honest and fair, this is a very valid question because we all know that ketamine is also a rave drug, a club drug, something that is in the recreational scene. And it can be confusing when the same substance is used recreationally and then also clinically in a healing space. And that's true of most substances that we're seeing in the psychedelic renaissance for healing, at least in this country. Psilocybin can be used recreationally or, in a fun mushroom trip in whatever way is used recreationally. Psilocybin is magic mushrooms, by the way. MDMA can be used, again, at a rave, club, whatever nightlife scene of your choice, or it can be used in a clinic as well. And I love getting this question because it gets me to dive into an answer that will likely surprise you. So stay tuned for that. And before I dive into unpacking this in my best way, I want to invite you to a free webinar that I'm hosting on November 6th. The details are in the show notes. And the question that we're answering in this time together on November 6th is ketamine right for me? Most of what I speak to on this show is for the person that has already chosen ketamine or already in ketamine. And yet I know I get questions, I get emails, I get a lot of inquiries of, but is it going to work for me? And so that's the question we're going to dive into in this webinar, November 6th. Details are in the show notes. I hope to see you in there. And if you know someone that would really benefit from this conversation, please send them the link as well. Okay, so is ketamine fun? I love unpacking this question in in a long form way that is going to do it justice, because when I'm get asked this question speaking on stages at conferences, again, I get asked this question a lot. I have to give a quick answer, and I'm so excited for this episode to exist so that we can really unpack it. So, question number 1, what is fun? Fun is going to mean something different to everybody. For some people I know, running marathons is very fun. For other people I know, swimming is very fun. For other people I know, cooking elaborate meals is really fun. We all have different ideas of what fun is. Whether something is fun or not really is in the beholder of the action taker and the action doer. One of my favorite quotes that I'm known from in my community is, "I love that for you," because I love so many things for other people that I do not love for myself. And truly, I believe that as long as you're having fun, and not hurting anyone, of course, then great, go for it. So the first thing that I'll say is ketamine's not fun for everyone, whether they're doing it in a clinical setting or at a rave. Not everyone's going to have fun on ketamine. We need to remember that Entheogens, psychedelics, are non-specific amplifiers. They amplify whatever is underneath the surface. So just because someone is in a fun setting does not mean that the thing that's going to kick up is going to be fun. So then what we might actually be talking about is outcome, right? Is ketamine fun? Is the outcome of ketamine fun? Is the outcome fun or is the outcome healing? I think that's the most common dichotomy that I see in this question of like, oh, well, if it's in a clinic, then it's for healing. And if it's at a rave, then it's for fun. And my answer, this is the part that's amusing to me, is that why are we judging the two to be mutually exclusive? And also, here's my take. Personal theory from years of doing subconscious transformation work and guiding clients through all sorts of subconscious healing. The opposite of trauma is fun. Who do you know that is in a traumatic loop or dealing with patterns from trauma that is having fun? That's not fun. There's so many ways to talk about and define trauma. I love the definition of trauma is not what happens to you, it's what happens inside of you. And what is it that happens in the nervous system after trauma is that the nervous system gets stuck. And then it loops the same pattern over and over, simultaneously seeking a corrective experience and also recreating the same old to avoid a corrective experience because there's a whole world of you, an entire life that is built on the bedrock, on the framework of this trauma. Which, by the way, I just spoke about this in my newsletter last week. So if you're not on my newsletter, hit any of the links below that are on my page and get on there because a lot of the topics that I dive into on this show, I dive into more in the newsletter. Anyway, the opposite of trauma is fun. Trauma is a loop, it is a stuckness, it is a continuation of a protection mechanism that often hijacks someone's conscious efforts, conscious desires, and it is no fun. If we can just agree that trauma is not fun and just be super reductionist about it, and for a moment, great. And so then let's hopscotch back to what fun is. Fun is being in the present moment. Fun is play. Fun is joy. Fun is relaxation. And therefore, that is how my definition of, hey, the opposite of trauma is fun, is because if someone is stuck in a traumatic loop, they are often stuck in a way of existing that keeps you from accessing those states of being. We know from the brilliant work of Dr. Brene Brown that the most challenging emotion feeling for humans to experience is joy. Why? Because joy involves an incredible amount of presence, and presence requires for us to release our protective mechanisms that trauma causes. So we have this interesting dance, don't we, right? I can be avoiding a difficult conversation or avoiding making a big decision in my life. And I can go to a really fun, I don't know, concert and work with ketamine recreationally. And it could kick up this thing that I'm ignoring. And I can leave that concert, even if it's my favorite, artist in the world. And I could be like, wow, that really wasn't fun because the kick up, the non-specific amplifier would keep me from enjoying the show. And simultaneously, I can get honest with myself and acknowledge, like, hey, there's this thing that is not letting me move forward in life, this difficult conversation, this big decision, whatever it is. And I can take that into a healing space, into a clinical setting with ketamine, and I can find resolution, find relief, and come out of that going, whoa, I feel lighter. That was so much fun. So, this whole conversation is really leading to one of the quotes that I say over and over again, that if ketamine alone was the cause of the transformation, the thing that changed people's lives, then wouldn't every person that ever tried it at a rave would be enlightened? And we know that's not the case. And we know that it's not true. And so, therefore, if you're listening to this and you're going, okay, well, what is the difference between having fun and having a terrible experience, whether I'm at a clinic or at a rave or, fill in the blank of recreational use of ketamine of your choice? And the answer there is the number one rule of psychedelic use that I go into so much length in the ketamine preparation protocol and actually guide people through, which is set and setting. It's why I advocate for the legal use of ketamine so that it's done in a clinical setting where the setting part is taken care of for you. And it's why I'm so passionate about set mindset, because that is the thing that is going to determine whether your outcome of ketamine is fun or not. It's the intention that you go into it with that is going to determine the outcome. And the truth is, the intention is filtered through the subconscious mind, and most people don't know how to work with the subconscious mind, which is what I'm absolutely most passionate about getting out into the world. Because if you want ketamine to transform your life, if you want to have a fun outcome of like, wow, ketamine got me on the other side of this pattern, this thing that I've been wanting to change for fill in the blank time, you want it to transform your subconscious mind. Your intention is what sets the GPS for where ketamine is going to take you. And that is why it is so freaking important. Again, it is the number one rule of psychedelic use, set and setting. And I talk about this at length in other episodes and also in the ketamine preparation protocol, how your intention is like the ticket that you bought for a train ride, and you're going to get off at the station of fun. And therefore, if other things come up in the process, that they're the things that need to be moved through the stops on the way to the intention, to the ticket that you bought. And what I think is the coolest thing, if it's not already super clear to you, my passion, my message, the hill that I'm going to die on in the psychedelic space is proper preparation and advocating for integration. And I do believe that preparation is super, super important, as is integration. And I know that, right, first impressions count, which is why I'm so focused on preparation right now. There's going to be more about integration. We're already doing calls about integration inside the ketamine preparation protocol. I just haven't been able to put that together in a different way. And the integration is where the insights that you have from ketamine get integrated, become a part of your life. The message that you get from the outcome of ketamine is information for you to take into your life to create contrast and motivate you to make changes. And so if you come out of a ketamine session, you're like, whoa, that was so fun, right? Like I really worked through something. I feel lighter. I feel better. And then you go back to your life and you have that contrast of, whoa, this life that I'm living feels really different. I'm really taking things very seriously. I don't feel supported. I don't have enough assistance or help, or I'm living and working in a way that's taking me further from the feeling that I have in ketamine. Then you have a guidepost to guide you back. You have a framework for how you want to feel more of, and then you can come back to it through the process after ketamine that we call the integration phase. So, is ketamine fun? Meaning, do I leave ketamine feeling more alive, more connected, more joyous, more expanded? Well, that's going to depend on your intention. It's going to depend on your set and setting, and it's going to depend on so many other factors. That is everything that I have for you today, Ketamine Connections. I would love to hear how this episode landed for you. Again, you can find any of the links in the show notes and shoot me an email. We are also on YouTube, so you can head over to YouTube and leave a comment there. I'm constantly checking for them, and share this with a friend. And again, remember, I am doing that free webinar on November 6th about, is ketamine right for me? We're going to dive into so many fun topics. I would love to see you there. And until next time, stay curious, friends. Bye. Hey, friends. Thank you so much for joining me today on Ketamine Connections. I hope that this episode inspired you. I hope that it uplifted you. And I hope it just expanded your mind in some way with some perspective shift. We have been running this show for over a year now, which is incredible. And after more than 50 episodes, we have so many different resources to offer you. And we took all of those resources, we put it into one place called the Ketamine Starter Portal. Check that out in the show notes. Everything you need is there. All of our guides, anything that we've talked about on the show is in that portal. And it's also the best way to get in contact with me, since we are not allowed to talk about psychedelics on social media. Being on the email list is the best way to get updates, to get all of the information that you need, and to stay in touch. So I really hope to see you in there.